Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Now many people is coming to the session, but the time is very limited, so I want to open the session with a kind of guidance. So thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning for 3Links participants. This session is a creative session 3 titled Countdown to Expo 2025, Osaka Kansai, Sustainable Procurement, Material Management, and Resource Circulation in Megaevents. So I'm Mrs. Asari from Kyoto University, and I will chair this session. So first of all, World Expo is a worldwide event bringing together nations to enable peoples and nations throughout the world learn by each other, showing innovations and finding answers to urgent global concerns, which is take place every 5 years. Despite all these positive impacts, large-scale events may have major negative environmental implications due to the high demand for resources and possible waste generated during the preparation and execution of the event. So I think in Osaka case, almost half a year event will be held. To address global shared concerns, the worldwide community has committed to attaining the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, by 2030. The importance of the Expo, especially 2025 Expo Osaka, is also in line with the attempts to achieve the SDGs. The objective of this session is to share activities from the Expo's planning phase in order to accelerate resource circulation and develop a sustainable society, achieve SDG, as well as to expand resource circulation initiatives in order to leave a legacy of the Expo. And finally, to prompt the Expo across the world. The session will also serve as a kick-off for further collaboration between the 3Links or circular economy academic networks, platform, and Expo to promote resource circulation society. And also today, we have the kind of key person from Thailand, a kind of yeah, I'm also very looking forward to hearing your ideas, Bill. Okay, thank you very much. So then I want to introduce the first presenter, Mr. Nagami. So today we have 3 presenters. And if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put in your chat field or Q&A the place. So the Nagami-san is currently working as an Executive Director, Sustainability Department, Japan Association for the 2025 World Expo. He had worked in the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Economics, Trade and Industry, on renewable energy, climate change, free environmental education, and so on. So he started to work on Expo from this year, so very fresh, but he, as I mentioned, he is one of the experts in this field. So Nagami-san, would you please talk about the current preparation for Expo and concepts? はい、吉村さん、じゃあ画面 OK です。
私が乗っけちゃって。そう。Thank you, Dr. Asari. Good evening, everybody. My name is Yasushi Nagami, Executive Director of Sustainability Department in Japan Association for the 2025 World Exposition. Thank you for giving me such opportunity to speak about my work, Expo 2025. Today, I will introduce you Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai and how we are going to address sustainability issue, especially 3R and carbon neutral. So this is an overview of the Expo. First, I would like to introduce you Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai, Japan. So it's going to be held in Yumeshima Island in Osaka City, Kansai region, west part of Japan from April to April 2025 to October 2025. The Osaka Kansai region was home to the foundation of the ancient Japanese state. Therefore, the region has many resources for historical tourism, including World Heritage Sites, national treasures, the historical buildings, and important cultural properties, as well as a wide range of cultural resources, including Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, traditional performing arts, and Japanese cuisine. The Expo is a national project toward the coming post-COVID-19 era. As an international exposition that will be held in such an era, the Expo will provide humankind with an opportunity to return to life as a starting point, rebuild awareness of the life of each other, and take a careful look at life in diverse forms in the natural world to explore a sustainable future of the world. A series of initiatives implemented under the theme Designing Future Society for Our Lives, conform with the United Nations SDGs with an ultimate aim of building a diverse and inclusive society with sustainable methods supported by the pledge that no one will be left behind. Scheduled for 2025, 5 years before 2030 as the target year for the SDGs. Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai, Japan will offer an ideal opportunity to confirm the interim progress of international efforts to achieve the SDGs and accelerate the efforts. At the same time, it's expected that the Expo intended to explore a future society from medium to long-term perspective will present not only a vision of our world in 2030, where the SDGs will have been achieved, but also a vision of our world beyond the SDGs. Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai, Japan will provide the international community with an opportunity to accelerate its efforts to achieve the SDGs and make a leap for the SDGs and beyond. To fulfill its purpose of putting the theme into practice, the Expo will comprise 3 sets of projects: co-creation with the world, theme practice, and future society showcase under the concept of People's Living Laboratory, which serves as a guideline for the Expo projects. Nations are going to behold pavilion. So pavilion, so here. So official participants and also some private sectors, Expo producers and Japanese government hold pavilions. Additionally, we are going to show future society showcase projects. We are going to show next generation technologies and social systems that anticipate the future beyond 2025 and practically applying advanced technologies and social systems suitable for an Expo held in 2025 in the Future Society Showcase projects. For example, in the mobility experience area located in the northwest of the Expo venue, with the cooperation of business operators, we have implemented takeoff and departure facilities, maintenance storage facilities, viewing areas, exhibition facilities, and so on. Various flying cars will travel from airports to the venue and connect the venue to the surrounding city. From this slide, I will explain sustainability measures in the Expo. In our Expo, we are going to formulate sustainable policy. Under the sustainable policy, we consider the policy of climate change about the Expo 2025 called the Green Vision. The Green Vision considers the direction to be aimed at the specific measures, especially regarding energy and resource recycling. We request the cooperation of various actors such as companies, organizations, national governments, and local governments toward the realization of this vision. In this vision, there are 6 pillars. It says, first, introducing advanced and economical technologies. Second, realization of circular economy means zero waste, zero food waste, and zero fashion, clothes loss by innovation on the demand side. Third, to promote understanding of visitors, introducing mechanisms to cause behavior change. Fourth, implemented a implementation project targeting a wide area, not only inside the venue, but also outside the venue. Fifth, promotion of both supply and demand initiatives in priority industry fields. Sixth, promotion of participants of various actors, such as startups and stakeholders. I will show you the measures which we consider in Green Vision to approach these pillars. In the energy management field, first, energy management and hydrogen usage, we consider an energy management system or electricity storage, hydrogen ammonia or ammonia power generation, hydrogen or ammonia overseas transport, or fuel cell, hydrogen production from renewable energy. We are going to try to apply these methods. Second, so CO2 storage uses, DAC and CCS, direct air capture and carbon capture storage, or methanation, carbon recycle technology. And renewable energy, we are going to use naturally, natural also. So in venue operation field, we are going to introduce waste collection of plastic used for food provision, or recycling of biodegradable containers and bioethanol production. Use own bottles and own containers promotion, or zero food waste. That means food supply and demand forecast, or utilization of food residues and sewage sludges. And zero fashion or clothes loss. So it means uniform upcycling or promotion of sustainable fashion. And next generation mobility that use hydrogen as fuel, FC buses, fuel cell ships, and EV ships. And we would also reduce greenhouse gas cooperate with visitors. So we are going to try to use nudge mechanism that encourages behavior change, or exhibition that promote understanding of carbon neutrality technologies and mechanisms. To implement these measures, I think there are 3 things to be considered. First, we have to learn from Milano Expo 2015, Expo 2020 Dubai, Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympics. We have to develop the legacy of these events, but there are also differences from Milano, Dubai, Tokyo. especially we Japanese have much study from Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. We will learn and develop recycle, reduce energy system from Tokyo 2020. For example, in the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics Games, gold, silver, and bronze medals are made with recycled metals, which gathered from whole country in Japan. And another example, one company made a uniform which used in ceremonies. So opening ceremony or medal celebration for Japanese team. The uniform is made with recycled fiber gathered from school sports clubs. We can consider such measures, and we are trying to do something like that. But there are also a difference from Tokyo 2020. So Expo is also, I think, food exposition. Especially Osaka is the capital of food in Japan. So there are much more amount and much more different sort of food residues from our venue, I think, than Olympic Games. We have to think we have to think how to recycle from so originally differently from so Tokyo 2020. So and additionally, there is also social progress in these 5 years on the SDGs issues. Social awareness is much higher than 5 years ago. So in Tokyo 2020 era. So in ESG investment is much more than 5 years ago. So we have to progress sustainability measures in the Expo from Tokyo 2020. Second, we will leave legacy. The venue is going to be removed after the Expo. But we should try to leave legacy in the world, Japan, or Kansai region, or Osaka city. For example, about carbon neutral and circular economy, we have to think what kind of technology, social system, or industry we can leave through the Expo. We would try to make, for example, we would try to make guidelines which can be used by small event organizer. There is an event sustainable management system by ISO called ISO 20121. Tokyo 2020 had adopted this system, and we Expo 2025 will adopt it. But I think for small event, it's hard to adapt. So we discussed to make the simple system or guideline for small events through our experience. Additionally, I want to progress food recycle system in Kansai area or in Osaka through Expo. There is not enough food recycle system in Osaka, but thermal recovery system I heard. There is enough thermal recovery facilities in Kansai area, but not enough facilities to make fertilizer or feed from food residues, and not enough facilities to use fertilizer or feed from food residues. Therefore, I would like to try to make food recycle system which can be left after the Expo in Kansai region with regional restaurant or supermarket or other stakeholders through Expo. Third, it's very important for us to do with stakeholders. So it's important, as a stakeholder partnership is important. We, Japanese government and Expo Association, need to cooperate with stakeholders to make Expo successful. We want to collaborate with the industry, local government, university, NGOs, and local NPOs, and so on. Especially local municipalities are important. In Japan, local municipalities are in charge of garbage administration. Therefore, local municipalities are also enthusiastic to reduce and reuse. To make good 3R system, it's very important to cooperate with local municipality and local citizens. Especially Osaka City is very enthusiastic to plastic problems because Osaka held G20 summit in 2019. As stated in the G20 implementation framework for actions on marine plastic litter, the G20 members agreed to facilitate effective implementation of the G20 action plan on marine litter by encouraging voluntary actions by G20 members and engaging in collaborative action and outreach activities. The action plan is called Osaka Blue Ocean Vision. So with Osaka Prefecture, Osaka City, and Osaka citizens, we will try to reduce plastic residues. We are going to discuss how to reduce PET bottles, garbages, plastic food containers, plastic cutlery in the Expo, a venue with Expo. So with Osaka Prefecture and Osaka City and Osaka citizens. Additionally, we would like to cooperate with the young fellows, university students, and so on. The theme of Expo is designing of future society. Future is for youth, not for my generation. There are only 3 years left before Expo. We need your cooperation. Please join us and make Expo wonderful and sustainable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nagami-san. So we have 3 minutes Q&A. So, and there is one question from Professor Sakai on the Q&A field. So, so green vision and core measures are very impressive. Please show us the procedures on how to evaluate various measures, how to select the proposals, and what is the main index to use in Expo secretary. If it's difficult to answer now, maybe you can keep at the discussion time.
Yeah. Please give me some time to think about it.
Thank you very much for the question. So later at the discussion time, after all presentations, yeah, I want to ask you to Nagami-san again. Thank you very much. So if you have any question, comments, please put in a chat field or a Q&A. So then, yeah, I will ask the speakers to answer now or later. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So the time is coming, so I will invite the next speaker, but Nagami-san will think about the answer during other presentations. Thank you very much. So then next is Ochi-san, Sachiko Ochi from Hitachi Zosen. She is currently working as General Manager, Business and Product Development Center, Environment Business Headquarters, Hitachi Zosen Corporation. Hitachi Zosen's environmental business headquarters handled waste treatment, where she manages the development section. Her section deals with many development items such as DX and energy saving, but recently is focusing on decarbonization technology and waste treatment. Originally, she specializes in wastewater treatment. She has been involved in resource recovery from sewage and industrial wastewater, especially in phosphorus recovery. So she is involved in ISO standard activities and expanding her range of activities. And today, so not directly connected to Expo at this moment, but this must be a kind of innovation of these times. So I'm really looking forward to hearing her ideas. Thank you very much. So Ochi-san, please start your presentation.
So, thank you for the introduction, Asari-sensei, and good evening, everyone. I'm Sachiko Ochi, and in charge of research and development of environment headquarters of Hitachi Zosen. Today, I will introduce the project for recycling CO2 in exhaust gas from an incinerator. That is the first full-scale project in the world. And I will explain our project in the order described in the slide. First of all, I introduce our company, Hitachi Zosen, briefly. So, we, Hitachi Zosen, established on 1881, and the sales of the last fiscal year of Hitachi Zosen Group was about 400 billion yen. We deal with environmental plant, machinery, and infrastructure in the world. The biggest business of us is related with incineration plant. And today's topic is related with incineration plant too. Oh, sorry. This is the history of WTE plant. WTE means waste to energy. That is generating power using the heat of incineration of waste. The first waste incineration plant in the world was constructed on 1937 in Netherlands by Von Roll Company. In 1960, Hitachi Zosen signed a license agreement with them and completed the first WTE plant in Japan in 1965. In 2011, Hitachi Zosen acquired Innova Group, which was succeeded to Von Roll Company. After that, Hitachi Zosen Group acquired Dry AD System, Power-to-Gas Technologies, and expanding business field. And this slide shows the global reference of incineration plants of Hitachi Zosen Group. We, Hitachi Zosen Group, have constructed over 1,000 plants in the world, and over half of them are WTE plants. And Hitachi Zosen conducts business activities mainly in Asia, and Innova Group mainly in Europe and the United States. Next, I will explain the methylation technology. So, in order to build a carbon neutralized society, we will strive to reduce CO2 emissions, and put into practical use technology that utilize the emitted CO2 as a resource. There are a wide variety of chemical substances that use carbon as a resource, and it is possible to replace conventional fossil fuel-derived substances. On the other hand, in order to promote the recycling of CO2, it is necessary to produce the target chemical substances, build a model for its use in society, and verify the evaluation of the CO2 reduction. Needless to say, it is important to convert to substances that are easy to use in society. So, with the growing need for decarbonization, the recovery of CO2 emitted from incineration is an urgent need, and we consider it our responsibility. There are various ways to CO2 reuse, as I said, and we choose to reuse it as methane gas because of its advantage, like here. So methane gas is the main component of city gas, and existing city gas pipeline can be used for delivery. Second, the gas has the large calorific value and it is suitable for fuel. Next, good for long distance transportation and storage because of easy liquefaction. In addition, the synthesized process already have been technically established. And in the future, it is possible to build a carbon circulation with CO2 and methane gas. However, it has disadvantage. It requires 4 times as much hydrogen, which means quite expensive nowadays. Some of energy of hydrogen is lost as a heat when it is converted to methane gas. But we think that hydrogen will become feasible thanks to the spread of renewable energy, and existing infrastructure will be a great advantage. So next I will explain the methane reaction. The methylation reaction was called Sabatier reaction because it was discovered by the French chemist Paul Sabatier in early 19th. This reaction is very simple. Methane can be produced by just passing CO2 and H2 through a tube packed with nickel catalyst. When the tube is kept high temperature and high pressure, only passing through CO2 and H2, methane and water will be produced. Since it is an exothermic reaction, once the reaction starts, there is no need for external heating. In Japan, Professor Hashimoto proposed global CO2 recycling system on 1993, and Hitachi Zosen have collaborated with his group to develop new materials, such as new electrodes for alkali water electrolysis for generating hydrogen, and methanation catalyst to realize his idea. The first plant of methanation was completed in 1995. After that, the scale of the test was bigger and bigger. Then, in 2018, we started the project, which I introduced today. Next, I will introduce details of the project. And the project is commissioned by the Ministry of Environment of Japan and started at 2018. The concept flow is described below. In 5 years, we install a demonstration facility for synthesized methanation production and produced from CO2 in the exhaust gas at the incineration plant for demonstration. And we'll carry out a test, which is CO2 recovery, methane production, and methane utilization. In addition, through this demonstration, we will clarify the technical, economic, legal, and regulatory issues for building the carbon cycle society model. Since this work is not for development of the elemental technology, but the demonstration of the carbon cycle model. So the reactor related to methanation have already been developed and the practical technologies are adopted. And the scope of this project is the part shown by the red line. The exhaust gas is separated from the incinerator and washed to remove impurities. And then the CO2 is captured from the washed gas the recovered CO2 is stored at once, and before the methanation, impurities are removed again, and then mixed with hydrogen and sent to methanation reactor. In this test, a part of synthesized methane is used to generate electricity. And in the future, it is expected to be supplied for local energy or used as fuel for vehicles. When hydrogen will be produced at low cost using surplus renewable energy, synthesized methane will get to be feasible. And this is the schedule of the project. Red star is the current position. As I explained, this project was started in middle of 2018. At first, we ran the bench test for taking design data. After design and construction, now we check the machine working well. Before this summer, we will start passing the gas and taking operation data. And this slide shows the bench test for design. A small scale test was carried out, actual gas in the same flow as the demonstration test. It was confirmed that the gas washing, CO2 capture, and methanation, and each unit worked well and produced about 80% methane gas. This photo shows the generated gas ignited. It was confirmed that combustible gas was generated. Based on the operation result, we designed and installed the test facility for demonstration. From now on, I will show you the photos of the verification test equipment. And this is the image of the methanation reaction tower used in the demonstration. The height of the reaction tower is about 30 meters. As explained, the methanation reaction is an exothermic reaction, and the facility has a cooling tower. And it also has a tank to store generated gas. And this picture is the current situation in the field. This plant is in the Odawara city in Japan. So the plant view is shown here. The CO2 capture equipment is the largest in footprint and height. You can see. And here is the rendering. The CO2 capture facility will be covered with a building due to the noise. And I will explain the schedule again. So red star indicates the current time. And after checking each equipment working well, we will carry out the test. First checkpoint is gas washing. It means checking if the quality of treated exhaust gas gets suitable for CO2 capture equipment. The target quality after washing is that temperature 80 degrees Celsius or less, and SOx and HCl is less than 1 ppm. The second is the CO2 capture equipment. The concentration of CO2 in the raw gas is expected to be about 5%. Under this condition, we will test how much the CO2 recovery rate can be increased. Third is the methanation equipment. It will be confirmed that synthetic methane can be produced a volume of 125 normal cubic meter per hour as synthesized methane gas. This volume is equivalent to gas usage for 2,600 households. In addition, by operating under various conditions, we will check the methane conversion rate. Its target is over 90%. Optimize the operation conditions and analyze the catalyst after the test in order to clarify future issues. Finally, each equipment will be connected and operating to confirm whether it can work well and effectively, and we will evaluate whether recovered CO2 is synthesized methane gas with target range and can be used as fuel. After that, we will clarify the issues when installing this system to incineration plant in the future. In addition, for LCA calculation, we will take power consumption data of each equipment and common utilities and other data needed. With that data, we will review the design concept of this system and conduct its feasibility study. And based on these results, like energy consumption, methane production, system efficiency, we will suggest two business models. One is for core part improvement business, and another for new plant building businesses. We will summarize how install a CO2 recovery equipment, a methane equipment, etc., and maintain these new equipment. So, and we will estimate the footprint and clarify economic issues. In addition, for building a carbon cycle society model, we will summarize the conditions of incineration plant that can produce and utilize methane, and make the scenarios for the progress of social implementation. So the purpose of this project is to recover CO2 in exhaust gas and gas of an incinerator and evaluate the possibility of its effective utilization. On the other hand, incineration plants are important social infrastructure closely related to our lives of residents, and they are always distributed in each region. If methane gas can be produced with CO2 in exhaust gas and hydrogen using renewable energy, it can be possible to make carbon circulation in a region. And when this model suggested by our project is socially implemented, the incineration plant can be not only waste treatment infrastructure, but infrastructure that supplies local energy and reduce CO2 emissions. By carrying out this first full-scale project in the world, the incinerator will play an important role in the regional circulating and ecological economy recommended by the Ministry of Environment. This means that our business can be contribute to the construction of a carbon-free society. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for very fruitful presentation. So at this moment, we have one question from the floor. Mako-san, do you want to speak by yourself or?
Okay, thank you, Chair, and thank you so much, Ochi-san, for your very wonderful, interesting presentation. So just let me ask one quick question about one of the component of the methylation project. Yeah, so I could find that, so actually the CO2 capturing from the exhausted gas generated from the incinerator. But is this technology already applied widely and also the business basis? So this is my question. I'm interested in this part. Small component. Yeah, this is actually a small component, but yeah, kindly let me know if you know about this technology. A little bit more detail about this technology.
Yeah, we use the PSA technology for CO2 capture. In the fact, we use the chemical absorption. So I can amine absorption, but limited for the height of reactors. We have to use the PSA system. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you so much. So now the PSA system is the most popular and applicable for, yeah, widely applicable to capture the CO2 from the exhausted gas.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. The most popular CO2 capture system is the amine absorbing. I think. So it is the reason why we want to use that system. But in this project, cannot use.
Thank you. Yeah.
Due to that, the height of the system.
Yeah, thank you. I understand. So, but there are some options. Then, so actually, in this project, so you choose the PSA system rather than I mean something. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for answering very detailed information. Thank you. And if you have any other question, comments, please feel free to put in the chat field or Q&A the place. Yeah, but later we can be back to the Q&A discussion. So thank you very much, Ochi-san.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so then next is a special speaker from Thailand. Ms. Pat Satkum, Senior Manager, Sustainability Development Section, MICE Capabilities Department, Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. So she has more than 15 years of direct experiences in MICE sector, especially exhibitions and events industry. She had held position in operations department over the past decade, supervising operation in Thailand and international projects such as the Royal Floor 2006 and AI World Expo and so on. Yeah, maybe she will talk about that. And also Asian Aerospace International Expo and Congress and more than other 20 projects. So she's currently a senior manager of Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau in charge of overall planning and in the department in sustainability and regeneration of Thailand's MICE industry. So this includes stakeholders engagement, partnership, alliance, capability building, and training, public engagement, product development, and project governance. So she is skilled in sustainability strategic planning, corporate sustainability, sustainable development, sustainability standards, event planning, and coaching with strong consulting professional. Yeah, so maybe not so technical issues, but we are very, very looking forward to know about her experiences and ideas. So Pat-san, would you please start your presentation?
Thank you very much, everybody. I am, before starting my presentation, I am from maybe different from the other two panelists earlier. I am from not technical or innovation specialized, but I am from the event side, the planning and designing the events and operating the event side. So hopefully that I will have few learning points that I will share with you. Hope it's benefit to you all. Let me share my presentation. There we go. All right. So as mentioned earlier, I am from Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. Who we are briefly, we are government agency we are tasked to promote and support and develop the capability of Thailand MICE industry or business events industry. So we are looking after every cities in Thailand. We have to, you know, our strategy is to win more events into Thailand or stimulate more events domestically, and also promote Thailand as the destination for business events. And also we need to develop capability of Thai MICE operators to be able to provide the service up to the standards, and plus with the responsibility to the environment and social. So that's why they have me in the organization. We have heard the word MICE industry. May I quickly go through MICE? Like, what is MICE? When we talk about MICE industry or business events industry, we're talking about M, the meetings, mostly corporate meetings. I, the incentive travel. For example, if you reach your sales target and your company pay you to travel somewhere, so that's called incentive travel. And conventions with the different associations. And the last one, the E, is consists of special events, for example, product opening and so on, mega events, that's what we are talking about today, and also the festival. So yes, so TCEP is looking after these industries, these activities. So it's a bit different from leisure tourism. When we talk about tourism, we talk about personal travel. But what TCEP is looking after is the business events or mega events or festival. All right. So since the topic is about sharing the experience from Thailand, so to be honest, we have never held, I mean, the Expo, the World Expo level. So what experience that we can share with you, it will be experience from the work that we have done. We've started to implement the environmental and social responsibility into the events since 2008. Until now. So it's you can see that it is more than 10 years that we've been working on this. We started from green meetings up to sustainability word. We did it before the UN SDG, and now here comes, you know, in 2016, the UN SDGs. So we develop guides. We have standards for event organizers and venues. We, in COVID time, we adapt ourselves into the situation of the pandemic. And here now, we also focus on the carbon footprint, the circular economy and the business recovery, regenerative MICE industry this year, after the COVID situation have been, ease a little bit. So how can we come back and set zero and started to take more responsibility to the environment? So these are the experience that we have had. We have worked with hundreds and hundreds of event organizers, hundreds and hundreds of venues, both in Thailand and international. So I gather some points, few points. I bring in 4 points that we have learned during the time that we have worked, and some points that earlier we talked about high technology initiatives, high technology practices that we can use in the event, especially the mega events like the World Expo or the Olympics, and also the technology that we may need a bit more budget to implement. But from my side, let's talk about something that we can do immediately. We don't need very high technology. We can base on creativities, and we can tackle on human engagement in terms of changing human behavior. I'm glad that I have heard from Nagami-san that in the World Expo 2025, we will engage promoting the behavior change more in the event. So hopefully I will have chance to join the Expo 2025. Okay, key points that we have learned throughout the years that we are practicing sustainability that may relate it to the Expo. When we talk about carbon footprints, we have learned along the way that reducing carbon footprint, we should focus on the logistics and travel. Why? Maybe this one Nagami-san already knows, but for others, let me share some statistics and research findings. These are numbers of, from different research findings from some of the events experience. As you can see that carbon footprint contribution in one event mostly come from the travel and transportation and logistics. The first one on the top left is the information from the Green Meeting Ninjas. They have done research and findings, and they found that 73% of carbon footprints in events come from travel. On the right-hand side, actually, this is the research findings from group of researchers or maybe university students in Japan. They found that you can see that majority of the carbon footprint contribution in event is from transportation. And well, those two findings are from research. Well, fine. Let's look at the real experience. From ABB Formula E, it is like car racing events, which is quite big one. They also have reports of carbon footprint contribution in their annual events. And you can see that majority is from logistics and travel activities, from freight, when they deliver their exhibit items, the travel staffs and other inspectors travel together. It's creep up more than 80% of the carbon footprint contribution. So many of events that we have worked with, they would love to reduce carbon footprint, but they didn't know at what point that they should focus more, that they should invest. Sometimes, reducing carbon footprint, you need to invest. So they don't know in what part that they should put as priority to invest or to plan well, fixing the carbon footprint release. So our suggestion is logistics and travel, according to these statistics and experience. What can we do? I'm not going to go over, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm not going to go through over the high technology initiatives or practices, but I will offer the basic behavior changing or event planning that you can start doing to reduce carbon footprint from logistics and travel. So let's ask some questions, during your planning time that, talking about air travel, it contributes a lot of carbon footprint, especially international events like World Expo, like Olympics, that people from all over the world will travel to Japan by air travel, by aircraft. So what can we do about it? So maybe one quick easy thing is maybe we have to look at the official airlines or recommended airlines with low carbon footprint contribution. These days, when you book air ticket online, or you can search Google flight from Bangkok to Japan, it will have recommended list of airlines, and you can see the carbon footprint contribution at the right side. Or you can look at your electronic air tickets. They will have carbon footprint contribution of your flight. So if you are the event owner, or if you are the expo organizer, maybe you would love to have a look at the official or recommended airlines with low carbon footprint contribution. And you can suggest this airlines to your exhibitors and your participants or visitors, right? The next one is, and I think this one, Nagami-san has talked about a little bit already, about the mobility around the event in the World Expo, that the show organizer will have a look at the clean energy vehicle or mobility around the event and within the cities. That one is nice. So if you're planning to organize some other events, so you can have a look at this. It can be, sometimes event organizers think that we have to invest a lot in terms of finding or buying or renting clean energy vehicle shuttle system in a number that enough to serve a large amount of participants or visitors. One option that you can do is looking at the sponsorship opportunities. They would love to promote their cars, their technology, and you have opportunity to use the clean energy vehicle. So sponsorship or collaboration through sponsorship thing or bartering thing is an option. How about bicycle? No carbon footprint. Can we have more bicycle transportation means? I mean, instead of using the shuttle with clean energy only, can we do something about bicycle transportation means? Can we create more activities about biking to the show or biking around the show or something like that? can we shorten any distance? For example, the hotels that nearby the site, can we contract them as the official hotels? Can we procure materials and food ingredients locally, more local, because it's shortened the distance of logistics, delivering materials and food. This can help reduce carbon footprint dramatically. Only, you don't need high technology, but it is only you well plan about your procurement system, your procurement regulations for the events. We have learned from many mega events that, you know, your exhibitors, or maybe we're going to have national pavilions, they have to bring in a lot of materials from their own countries. If we allow enough time, which means well prepare of the planning time, the planning period or build up period. If you allow more time, they can ship or sea freight their materials instead of air freight. That also can reduce carbon footprint from logistics of the exhibit items, materials, right? So, and many more things that you can think of, but this just some questions that I would suggest that we can, you know, sometimes ask our team that can we do anything about it, and it costs nothing. It costs nothing. Just change the way we plan our events. All right. So that is the first one. The second one that we found out is the prevention and reduction is very, very, very important. Sometimes when talking about waste, people tend to focus on the how to manage the waste. They put high technology, they invest a lot, they put a lot of budget in terms of managing the waste, that it becomes waste already. But what we found is the prevention or reduction of the waste, which means that you have to do something, you have to plan something before those things becomes waste. That can help a lot also. I love this saying that, you know, in comparison, if we compare to, you know, this overflow water, that we will have to mop the floor endlessly if we don't stop or slow down the water flow. If you still keep the water flow turning like heavily and you try to mop the floor all the times, you will have to mop the floor, you know, endlessly, and you have to invest a lot. You have to spend a lot of time, spend a lot of human resource and other resource, try to fix the flood of the water. So what we found is focus on slow down the water flow, try to minimize the waste, prevent the waste, and reduce the waste. What can we do? Again, planning, the event planning, the procurement planning, the materials planning, time planning, creativity is really important. The example that I gave it to you here is some initiatives in Thailand that how they reduce food waste and fabric waste. For example, we have a project called Food Waste Prevention, and we encourage event venue to repurpose the surplus food, or even the we don't want to call it waste, but it's like, you know, peels or something that you cannot, you normally don't use it in events. For example, in the middle, they create the menu for coffee break called salmon and ugly apple tart. What is that? You know, sometimes the apples that they procure, sometimes it is not as beautiful outside enough to serve as the cut fruits on plate. Instead of throwing it away, chefs should think about, you know, how can we make use of these ugly apples or ugly tomatoes or ugly potatoes. Some peels, you can see on the left-hand side, zero waste. That is the beef stew, something made from the pieces of beef that when they cook nice piece of steak, they have to trim some meat out, and usually they throw them away. But with the program, we urge the chefs and the team to come up with the menu that you use to make use of those ingredients that you usually throw away. You can see some of these are onion peels, you know, the outer shells that sometimes you throw them away as, you know, bio waste, but you can make use of it. You can do something about it. On the left hand side, you know, the lower left, this is some Chinese soup, sweet soup, and it has egg in it. And those eggs come from the breakfast buffet. You know, people didn't eat them. Don't throw them away. Just repurpose it, make it, you know, use it to create some other menus. On the right hand side, you can see three jars of, it looks like, you may not notice what it is, but actually it's the pineapple peels. When they cut pineapples and they serve the pineapples, they have pineapple peels. Instead of throwing them away, the chefs create the drinks from pineapple peels, alcohol drinks, to serve as the welcome drink in an event. See, nothing to be thrown away. Close the loop. This is the social enterprise, a small enterprise. This is not recycled fabric. It doesn't made from recycled fabric, but it's made from surplus fabric. You don't need to go through fancy high technology recycled thing. You can just make use of the fabric that they normally throw away from the fabric and garment industry, which they throw them away a lot. So make use of these surplus fabric to create your team or your staff's t-shirts, you know, your team shirts, your staff shirts. All right, so it doesn't have to go through expensive recycle technology. I'm not saying that high technology is not good, okay? I'm thrilled and I am excited about high technology, but this is the quick win that you can make, that you can do it, just changing your behavior. This is, we proudly present the Wasteland drink. This bar, a little small company, you know, they make drinks, sodas, and alcohol drinks from waste, from the kitchen, not waste, but those peels and, you know, lime peels and those things that they cannot use anymore in the kitchen, that leftover materials from the kitchen. For example, if we make coconut milk, we make from coconuts, and we squeeze the milk, and then we have left over the coconut husk. So they can make drinks from the coconut husk. We call it closing the loop. That's why what I'm saying is trying to close the loop. Use your creativities to do something about it. So this wasteland drinks has been served in many of events in Thailand and in hotels for different events. So the hotels can reduce their food waste, and they have something interesting and fun to serve their participants. So maybe in the World Expo, there may be some organization or some company can do this also and can serve in the expo. This is the result, the quick result of the prevention, the project food waste prevention. So we looked in the prevention of, all process of the food operations, all points of food operation. For example, the plates for buffet, we reduce the size plates. So people don't left over, they don't throw away food more. So this is on the top, on the right-hand side is the result. We save 320 tons of food. This is for 1 year only. We save money, 75 million baht. We reduce 780 tons of carbon footprint, and we educate more than 800 people about food waste. This is the result of the project in only 1 year, in only preventing waste from food, and no technology needed, just change the behavior and use the creativities. So that is the prevention. Next, this is the tools that we provide to event organizers to measure the carbon footprint that they can reduce in their events by practicing, by not using plastic bottles, by not using wooden materials and so on. The calculator in the market right now, usually they calculate the carbon footprint that they contribute, and then they offset to neutral. But we developed something easy for our Thai organizers to sort of like measure the result of carbon footprint that they can reduce if they change their behavior. And people love it. Okay, the third one. This is another very important point, that the sustainability, we found that sustainability is the place where responsibility and creativity meet. You want to respond. You want to act responsibly for the environment and society by, if you use the creativities to do that, it will help you a lot. Because in events, it is not normal product. It's not like producing shampoo or not producing televisions or anything like that. Creating the events, you have to also capture the feeling, the emotion of the participants. If you just tell them that, hey, don't throw away food, or hey, don't use this, don't do that, don't do this, they would not feel happy. They would not feel fun participating in your event. But how can we make them feel good, feel better, and still responsible to the environment? So creativity is the key that you can use. Why? The creativity is important because, in areas where, high technology and budget cannot be met. Sometimes you don't have enough budget for everything, right? You don't have enough budget for high technology everywhere. Most of the time, I can tell you that creativity is the solution. Creativity with simple action, simple initiatives and tools, can touch people's hearts. As I mentioned earlier, people need to feel something attending the event, not just, buying television. It's not like that. They attending the event, they want experience, they want to feel something. So make it simple, make it creative, can touch people's hearts. It can engage human. As Nagami-san mentioned earlier, that the Expo 2025 aim to also engage to make human behavior changing. So creativity is the key. It's a key tool. It's a very helpful tool that can help engage human value shifting. And why? Why should we focus on human value shifting? Because it is more sustainable. It stays with humankind. The creativity can generate many other things. It stays with us. And innovation, when we talk about innovation, it doesn't always mean always equal to high technology. Innovation can be simple creativity. These are I try to choose very simple example for you guys. On the left-hand side, I didn't have, this is from my own event in 2017. I didn't have budget. This is very shameful example, but I didn't have enough budget to, I didn't want, big wooden backdrop. The stage was 21 meters wide, and we had to create huge backdrop. And I didn't want a wooden backdrop that at the end we have to tear it down and it becomes waste. So using LED, the whole LED for 21 meters, again, I didn't have budget. So I told the organizer that what we can do about it. So they came up with this idea. These are industrial water tank, the empty tank, and they put lighting in there. They stack them, changing the lights, as if, when the music's on. And at the end of the show, they take out the lighting inside and it goes back to industrial side, becoming water tank. So nothing left, no waste, no high technology needed, no extra budget needed, right? I don't know if you know this, fortune stick, in Chinese temple. We wanted to run, randomly run to assign people into different groups. And it's so boring, using computer to run, technology to run random. So we use the fortune stick. So everybody comes to the event and wants to know which group they will be in. So they just use the fortune stick, and they have fun. They love it. They love it. Some backdrops can use only plastic crates from the kitchen, stack them in different colors, and it becomes photo backdrop for your coffee break. This is the wasteland drinks that I talked about. The way you serve food, the way that you, this event on the top left, this event is also my event, and we want to reduce carbon footprint. One of the initiatives is not serving coffee at all. In the class, we don't serve coffee. So how can we, and we know that people will complain if we don't have coffee. So the point is, use your creativity to make people forget that they didn't have coffee served. and it was successful. They love it. Last, don't forget human capital. Don't forget about the happiness, the engagement of the participants, your team, your stakeholders, your suppliers, your students, your farmers. You know, open more opportunity for them to engage in the front line. What I mean is, for example, chefs. Chefs are the key person to help you reduce food waste, but not many events involve chefs in their pavilions or in their events. Chefs are in the kitchen. We have never seen, we hardly see chefs in the event, the chefs who cook food for us. So put them in the front line. And this is from my event that we invite chefs from the kitchen to explain about food with participants, how they repurpose the waste or the surplus materials to become this menu, and people love it. You engage more people, deliver the message from the farmers in your buffet lines or in your food lines. When you serve organic rice or when you serve healthy food, put on the message from your farmers. The cocktails and students on the left, below left, this little lady, this lady is our students, and not our student, the students from one university joining the, planning the events. So we assign her a station of, you know, special activities like exercise during the event. So she make use of rubber bands that everybody has. She informed the participants beforehand to bring the rubber bands from their home, and she taught them to make the, you know, the exercise band, rubber band for office syndrome. See, the participants love it. So last, as I mentioned, don't forget our human capital. Put them under the spotlight, and you will have more ideas. You will have more creativities put on the table. So that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your very, very, yeah, interesting and impression presentation. Thank you very much. And I become very hungry with some of your photos. Okay, thank you very much. So then we don't have enough time, but sorry, we want to expand a few minutes. So first of all, Nagami-san, can you answer 2 questions from the floor?
Yes, so first, Dr. Sakai asked me, so procedures on how to evaluate various measures, how to select the proposals, and what is the main index to use in the Expo secretary. So, so far we consider the effect to reduce amount of waste or greenhouse gas. And additionally, so we are going to show Japanese, so our Japanese own technologies. So this is Expo. So so effect and the addition to effect. So it's very important to show our Japanese technologies. So we would like to show Japanese technologies to the world. But so it's still important to, to show Japanese technologies or so effect to reduce greenhouse gases or waste. But now we also consider system cooperate with outside the venue or measures with the visitors rather than technology. It's actually it's hard to reduce greenhouse gases or residues only with technologies. So we would like to adapt social system, recycle or to recycle or reduce or to reuse residues to or a system to reuse facilities of Expo. So and Additionally, as Dr. Taylor said, visitors' flight is a very big emission source of greenhouse gas. So we would like to do some measures with the visitors to reduce greenhouse gas equivalent to visitors' flight. So right now, we would like to consider the measures with so visitors or other stakeholders and make social system. So it's right now. So how to adapt the so measures or so the what we consider is that. And second question is from so Tsukiji-san, so recycle options, especially for organic waste to be generated from the event venues. So first option is, so we are going to make methane with organic waste. So we will do that. But Japanese government thinks to make feed or fertilizer is more important than to make methane. So what I consider is, so for example, right now in Kansai region, right now we can bring our organic waste to the facility in Nagaoka City in Kyoto and make feed for poultry farm. In that poultry farm, we can get eggs and we can use these eggs in Expo venue. So it's called recycle loop in Japan. So I want to make this recycle loop. So from our garbage, we can make feed. And from this feed, in poultry farm, so eggs can be made. So this eggs we want to use in Expo venue. So this kind of recycle system I want to make. So this is the answer.
Okay, thank you very much. So then also the time is over, but sorry, I want to keep a few minutes. So for Ochi-san, very, very informative presentation. Again, thank you very much. And I want to know that this is a creative session with 3 links, and many academics and the younger generation is here in this session. So if you have any kind of hope or wish or something message for these kind of stakeholders, please let us know.
So thank you, Asari Sensei. So in the project, we can evaluate only technical aspect for our system, but there are a lot of measures for CO2 reduction in the society. So, but it is not full evaluation. So I hope the academic side, the evaluation will proceed the evaluation, and we sorry in Japanese それで比較できるようにして私たちの技術のシステムの有効性を評価お願いをしたいというところです。Sorry, translate.
So the comparison, the comparative method is important. For others. Thank you very much. I understand.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And also the one comment at the chat field. So for Pat-san's presentation, Achala-san say that it's interesting for having zero waste menu in the event. So I believe that every country have their own zero waste menu. But so Pat-san, I'm really impressed with your presentation, especially concepts, keywords. Not only high tech, but also a kind of the mindset innovation is very important. But do you feel there's a very big wave to change the mindset of the people?
You mean, is it difficult to change?
No, now many younger generation is starting the different maybe way of thinking about the consumption or
Yes.
behavior. Yeah, and especially your MICE project is very important to catch up that kind of new wave, yeah, new opinion. But how do you feel?
I feel that, well, yes, the new generation, the younger generation, they have new way of thinking, but still, our generation, let's assume that all of us here is not a young generation. Our generation still live, right? Our generation still work. Our generation still organize events, still lead the way, because the younger generation, they are still maybe, some of them are still in university, some of them are still, starting their job, not the decision maker. So I think it's really important that our generation has also have to change, have to shift the value of living, of the responsibility. Otherwise, it will become, oh, we don't have to change, the new generation, they will do it. I don't think that it's right, because the problem now doesn't caused by them, it caused by us, an older generation. So sustainability advocates or responsibility, it's not tomorrow, it's now. It's now. And who is the one who can start the change now? Us, not younger generations. That's what I think from my opinion.
Yeah,
so it's not about one thing that we have to learn. The first one thing that we have to learn how to trust the young generation. Listen to them, because we get used to them listen to us. So what I think we should learn is listen more to them.
Yeah, thank you very much for your very, very strong message. Yeah, thank you very much. I want to talk more, but the time is coming. So thank you very much, all presenters and the participants. Yeah, hope next 3 links will be held on site and try zero waste or zero carbon footprint events, maybe beyond the Expo, hopefully. And also we want to keep cooperation with Thailand or other Asian and the global countries. Thank you very much again. And in Japan, good night, but have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much all. So see you tomorrow.